If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Lorenz Larkin back on the show. It has been a little while since we were able to make this happen, but we're happy to be joined by the man who was victorious on Friday night in the main event of Bellator 229, defeating Andrey Koreshkov, the former Bellator welterweight champion. At that, let's hear from the Monsoon himself. Great to have you back, Lorenz. How are you?
Man, good to be back. I'm hanging out, just hanging out.
There you go. So it's been around 6 days since the big win. It's 3 in a row for you now. How does it all feel getting a win in a tough fight like that?
It felt good. I kept saying the whole time, during fight week, or just even leading up to the fight, that he's like the dark horse of the division. Everybody ducks this guy. And it just shows because he's been in Bellator since like 2012, something like that. Maybe 2013, and he hasn't fought anybody other than, as far as the big welterweights, like the top ranked welterweight, other than Lima and Ben Askren. And the whole time, I've been talking to people. I'm like, how is that? How has this guy been here so long but only fought those two guys? And it's the only reason that makes sense in my head is everybody was ducking this guy.
Was the fight everything you expected it to be? I mean, I know he's a dark horse. He's a very talented guy, sort of an under-the-radar fighter, especially in that division. Did anything Andrey brought to that fight surprise you at all or throw you off at all, or is it everything you kind of expected it to be?
That kick was fast. I didn't see the kick, but everything else, I knew what I was getting into, and that's why I wanted this fight. Even after it got canceled the first time, I made sure that Bellator knew that I still wanted this fight, so it went, I couldn't ask for anything better, it was good, and I came out with a W.
How badly were you hurt in that first round?
No, you know what? It was more just like a flash, it happened, and as I was like falling, I was like, oh shit, it wasn't like I didn't know where I was at, you know what I mean? But it was just one of those things where it was fast. It was fast to the point where even when I watched the replay, it doesn't even look like it hit me. You know what I mean? I was just like, damn, like that was a fast kick.
You were able to obviously recover, battle back, and get the win. And kind of going back and looking at things after the fact, there were a lot of people who were doubting you heading into that fight. A lot of people were picking against you, from fans to media members. Like, do you hear that noise? Like, do you hear or read people's picks when it comes to these fights? And if so, do you use that as motivation?
Oh, yeah. I'm known for giving the fuck you to people. Sorry, I don't know if I cuss on
You
here.
can say whatever you want.
But, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I love it. That's how I exited UFC. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where it's just like an inner win for me. I kind of just look and give them that look like.
I had actually heard that you trolled some YouTube pages as well. Is that accurate? After the fact?
Yeah, I look and I just kind of look at people's comments. I take a gander and just kind of give a little. I don't really say much, but I might give a little like to somebody's comment.
That's so funny, man. Where does a win like that put you in the grand scheme of things? Like, you're being interviewed after the fight. The direction, at least in the interview, seemed to be you fighting the winner of Rory and Lima for the welterweight title. Is that what you believe will be next? Or what have you been told will happen?
Well, I haven't got told anything, but my goal is to fight in December. 29th in Japan, Horizon, for that's my goal though. That's what I wanted, and that's what I conveyed before this fight. You know what I mean? I didn't look past Koreshkov, but I made it clear that like if everything goes good in this fight, puts me on that card. So everything went good, and I got a little bumps and bruises, but that's nothing. I sparred yesterday. You know what I mean? So I felt good in training yesterday, and I'm ready to get right back in the camp.
Is there anybody in particular you'd like to fight on that card? Because I know they do the cross-promotional stuff. You can make some really interesting matchups on a card like that. Is there anybody in particular you'd like to get in there with if you get that opportunity?
You know what, man? I'm not even going to sit here in front. I don't know their roster like that. You know what I mean? But I think for me, it's more of a pivotal point in my career as far as, like, to me, like don't get me wrong, like, I love boxing. I grew up watching boxing, but and one of the bucket lists was MSG. You know what I mean? Fighting there. But to me, like, the mecca of fighting, like that, like, where I would be like, I made it. All this time for me to be like, I made it, would be to fight at the Saitama Arena. Like, that would be, like, crazy for me. That, to me, that's bigger than Madison Square Gardens any day.
That would be an amazing thing. And it was funny just kind of like looking back on things, because 3 years ago, like you talked about, you run through a guy like Neil Magny, you jump into free agency, you sign with Bellator, you fight for the belt right away. You drop your first 2 fights, you win your next 3. You got people praising you, people on your side, watching your every move, to people kind of jumping off board for a little while. What have these last couple of years been like for you? You know what I mean? Like, with all that, the emotion, the way this sport can be, have there been times where this sport and fighting in it has been kind of a bummer at all?
Well, I came in knowing. Well, I didn't come in knowing, because I don't think nobody actually knows how hard it is when you first start. But, I came in with a mind frame of, of this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my career, and people think that, you can have all this talent and all this, like, and you could just be the best fighter in the world and succeed in fighting, and it's not true whatsoever. Like, fighting is there's so much mental behind it that, like, losses have killed people's careers. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not that they're not good, they just have a mental block about it. You know what I mean? They can't get over the hump mentally. You know what I mean? So I've come across adversity in my career. I've come off of, like, I think you'll see once I had like 3 losses in a row, or I don't know, there's 3 or 4 losses in a row. You know what I mean? And I came back from that to come back to 2 finishes with 2 fight of the nights back to back. You know what I mean? So it's like that. Those type of things that hinder a lot of people don't hinder me. You know what I mean? If I was to lose, that's after that day, that's it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and lie like I'm not in the back room pissed off, but after that day, it's on it. It's me in the gym fixing it. You know what I mean? And thinking about the next fight. And I think that's kind of what happens in my career. And that's why it's kind of like, it's not the most best career, but as far as, you can never count me out. You know what I mean? Because I'm a new fighter. Anytime I step in that cage, I'm not thinking about if I lost the last one, if I won the last one. You know what I mean? So I think that's some things that has helped me out in my career.
Do you like sort of being in that dark horse position right now? Like, obviously you've won 3 in a row and you're sort of climbing back up, but considering where you were 3 years ago to where you're at now, I think a lot of people consider you sort of like under the radar. Do you prefer that, or do you want to be like the talked about guy, the top contender? Like, as soon as Lorenz fights for the belt again, like, he's there. Like, you know what I mean when I say that though?
Yeah. I don't. To me, man, I could give 2 shits about all the attention. You know what I mean? My thing has always been, like, when I'm in this career, as long as the contract is right and the fight is right, like, that's all I care about. Attention just brings bullshit with it. You know what I mean? And I could care less. I care less what people think or whatever. As long as, my thing is, where I'm at in this division, anybody can always be selected for a title shot. You know what I mean? And you know, as long as I keep stringing these wins together and beating these guys that are really good, that's all I ask for. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't want any like average fighters. You know what I mean? I want all top guys. Do not match me with any guys that are subpar. You know what I mean? My thing is, I came over here as a top tier fighter. Give me top tier guys, and that's what they've been giving me.
So you have been not only wearing the fighter hat, but now you're wearing the promoter hat as well. I've been seeing on Instagram, Island Empire Fight Night. You're playing the promoter role. And we've seen a couple of guys in the sport do some promoting as well, have their hands in some promotion, getting a look at the other side of things, sort of the business back end side of the sport. How are you enjoying the promotional side of MMA?
It's good. You know, it gives me a lot more. How to say, like the fighters can't really tell me no bullshit. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, I give them that look like, dude, I fight too. Like, don't do that. But, no, it's fun. You know what I mean? And the fighters that fight for us, we treat them good. And, you know, and I think it helps. I think it helps with the promotion because I am a fighter and I know what fighters want and how fighters want to be treated. You know what I mean? So it helps out. It's a good little business venture that's been paying off for me.
That's great. What do you prefer doing more, fighting or promoting? Like, I know there's days where you probably prefer doing one over the other, but what do you see like more longevity in? What do you, like, if you had a choice, like today you have to pick one, what are you doing?
Oh, man. Well, see, I got a trucking company, so I would probably pick the trucking company. No, but I don't know, man. Fights are the fight game is, especially amateurs. Amateurs are really hard to fucking deal with. They pull out for anything. They can sprain a thumb and they're out. The fight is over. So that's the only thing that is like the biggest downfall for that is just like some of these amateurs are like prima donnas. And I'm just like, dude, you're not even pro yet. But it's a part of the game. Then even fighting, I don't know. If I could just wake up and fight, I think every fighter would just fight for the rest of his life. But this is the training that's like tedious and just they're both good and bad, man.
Have you run across in your promoter role, like obviously you've seen some of the negative side of the amateur fighters and people pulling out and stuff, but have you seen sort of the positive side? Have you run across a fighter in your promotion where you're like, man, this guy or this gal is just gotta be a star?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, and it's cool because you get to see them grow. You know what I mean? You get to see, you know, as they keep coming back for you and fighting, the evolution of their skill levels getting higher and higher and higher as they go. You know, it's really cool to watch. You know what I mean? And especially to see from the beginning to potentially seeing them on maybe a debut for a UFC or a Bellator. You know what I mean? So it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch them grow as a fighter.
Couple more things before we let you go, man. I appreciate the time. First of all, I was hosting a show the other day, and we were talking about your big win, and I said, you know, what do you want to see next for Lorenz? Some people said you should fight for the belt. I didn't even think about the Ryzen thing. That's a good idea. But a lot of people threw out the idea of you versus a guy like Michael Venom Page. So I wanted to ask you your thoughts on a fight with a guy like MVP. You want top-tier guys? You know, he's had his ups. He had the fight against Lima. He actually looked pretty good in that fight until he got finished. What do you think about a matchup like that?
I don't know. You know, he's a cool guy. From what I haven't really met him yet, but he's with my management. You know what I mean? And my thing is, I don't do those type of things. You know what I mean? Like as far as management and people that I train with. So
yeah,
you know, I don't know. It's a little situation. I don't know.
It'd have to be the right time, the right numbers, both people just like
conversation. Yeah.
And then Rory and Lima are about to fight at the end of the month. Who do you think walks out with the belt?
Lima. I think Lima for sure.
It's a good fight. I'm excited for that one.
I hope he's a big underdog. Hint, hint. Hint, hint. Yeah.
There you go, man. Are you gonna be at Mohegan for that, or?
That's no, I won't be. I try to stay away from Mohegan.
I understand. Say no more. Lorenz Larkin, everybody, coming off his big win over Andrey Koreshkov on Friday. It was an impressive performance, a lot of fun to watch, maybe the best fight of the entire weekend, and a big win for you. It's 3 in a row, and hopefully you get on that Rising card, man. That'd be really cool to see. Before we let you go, man, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on the web, social media, anything else you want to get off your chest, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, just Instagram, DA_Monsoon. That's all everywhere. Twitter and Snap and Facebook. Oh yeah, and all to Andre's fans, stop messaging me, man.
What?
I don't have translator, so I can't translate what the fuck you guys are saying. I know it's probably something stupid, so I just delete the shit. So just give it up. You lost. That's the game.
What?
It's funny,
That's
man.
crazy.
They hit me up. Yeah, they hit me up with all these like Russian sayings and shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck? they're all like, you won battle, but we will win war and shit. All like, just
Oh my God. Has that ever happened to you before?
Yeah, but it's just like I get all these like Russian people that follow me. I'm like, cool. I'm like, what is he about to message me?
That is crazy, man. All right, so if you're a fan of Andrey Koreshkov, stop messaging Lorenz Larkin. Let him enjoy his victory. Let him smell the roses for a little while, and maybe they'll meet again down the road. But Lorenz, always a pleasure. Great catching up with you after all this time, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in Japan on that Rising card.
Yes, sir. All right, thanks.